St Augustin, commentary on Psalm 14 and 15. Commentary on Psalm 14. To the end, a psalm of David himself. What to the end missed must not be too often repeated, for Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believes. Romans 10:4. As the Apostle says, we believe in him. When we begin to enter on the good road, we shall see him when we shall get to the end, and therefore is he the end. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God, verse 1. For not even have certain sacrilegious and abominable philosophers who entertain perverse and false notions of God dare to say, there is no God. Therefore it is has said in his heart, for that no one dares to say it, even if he has dared to think it. They are corrupt and become abominable in their affections. That is, while they love this world and love not God, these are the affections which corrupt the soul and so blind it, that the fool can even say in his heart there is no God. For as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, God gave them over to a reprobate mind. Romans 1:28. There is none that does goodness, no, not up to one. Up to one can be understood either with that one so that no man be understood, or besides one, that the Lord Christ may be accepted. As we say, this field is up to the sea, we do not, of course, reckon the sea together with the field. And this sees the better interpretation, so that none be understood to have done goodness up to Christ, for that no man can do goodness except he shall have shown it. And that is true, for until a man know the one God, he can do goodness. The Lord from heaven looked out upon the sons of men to see if there be one understanding or seeking after God. Verse 2. It may be interpreted upon the Jews as he may have given them the more honorable name of the sons of men, by reason of their worship of the one God, in comparison with the Gentiles, of whom I suppose it was said above, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. Now the Lord looks out that he may see by his holy souls, which is the meaning of from heaven. For by himself nothing is hid from him. All have gone out of the way, they have together become useless. That is, the Jews have become as the Gentiles who were spoken of above. There is none that does good, no, not up to one. Verse 3. Must be interpreted as above, their throne is an open sepulchre. Either the veracity of the ever-open palette is signified, or allegorically those who say, as it were, devour those they have slain, into whom they instill the disorder of their own conversation. Like to which, with the contrary meaning, is that which was said to Peter, kill and eat, Acts 10:13, that he should convert the Gentiles to his own faith and good conversation. With their tongues they have dealt craftily. Flattery is the companion of the greedy and of all bad men. The poison of asps is under their lips. By poison he means deceit, and of asps, because they will not hear the precepts of the law, as asps will not hear the voice of the charmer, which is said more clearly in another psalm, whose mouth is full of cursing and bitterness. This is the poison of asps. Their feet are swift to shed blood. He here shows forth the habit of ill-doing. Distraction and unhappiness are in their ways, for all the ways of evil men are full of toil and misery. Hence the Lord cries out, "Come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will refresh you. Take my yoke upon you, and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart. For my yoke is easy and my burden light." Matthew 11, verses 28 to 30. And the way of peace have they not known, that way namely which the Lord, as I said, mentions in the easy yoke and light burden. There is no fear of God before their eyes. These do not say, "There is no God," but yet they do not fear God. Shall not all who work iniquity know? Verse 4. He threatens the judgment, who devour my people as the food of bread, that is, daily. For the food of bread is daily food. Now they devour the people who serve their own ends out of them, not referring their ministry to the glory of God and the salvation of those over whom they are. They have not called upon the Lord, for he does not really call upon him who longs for such things as are displeasing to him. There they tremble for fear, where no fear was. Verse 5. That is for the loss of things temporal. For they said, "If we let him thus alone, all men will believe in him, and the Romans will come and take away both our place and nation." John 11:48. They feared to lose an earthly kingdom where no fear was, and they lost the kingdom of heaven which they ought to have feared. And this must be understood of all temporal goods, the loss of which when men fear, they come not to things eternal. For God is in the just generation. It refers to what went before, so that the sense is, "Shall not all they that work iniquity know that the Lord is in the just generation, that is, he is not in them who love the world. For it is unjust to leave the maker of the worlds and serve the creature more than the Creator." Romans 1:25. You have shamed the counsel of the poor, for the Lord is his hope. Verse 6. That is, you have despised the humble coming of the Son of God, because ye saw not in him the pomp of the world, that they whom he was calling should put their hope in God alone, not in the things that pass away. Who will give salvation to Israel out of Zion? Verse 7. Who but he whose humiliation you have despised is understood? For he will come in glory to the judgment of the quick and the dead, and the kingdom of the just, that for as much as in that humble coming blindness has happened in part unto Israel, and the fullness of the Gentiles might enter in. Romans 11:25. In that other should happen what follows, and so all Israel should be saved. For the apostle too takes that testimony of Isaiah, where it is said, "There shall come out of Zion he who shall turn away ungodliness from Israel." Isaiah 59:20. For the Jews, as it is here, who shall give salvation to Israel out of Zion, when the Lord shall turn away the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. It is a repetition as is usual, for I suppose Israel shall be glad is the same as Jacob shall rejoice. Commentary of Psalm 15, a psalm of David himself. Touching this title there is no question. O Lord, who shall sojourn in your tabernacle, verse 1. Although tabernacle be sometimes used even for an everlasting habitation, yet when tabernacle is taken in its proper meaning, it is a thing of war. Hence soldiers are called tent fellows, as having their tents together. This sense is assisted by the words, "Who shall sojourn?" For we war with the devil for a time, and then we need a tabernacle wherein we may refresh ourselves, which specially points out the faith of the temple dispensation, which was wrought for us in time through the incarnation of the Lord. And who shall rest in your holy mountain? Here, perhaps, it signifies at once the eternal habitation itself, 2 Corinthians 5:1-2, that we should understand by mountain the supereminence of the love of Christ in life eternal. He who walks without slain and works righteousness, verse 2. Here he has laid down the proposition. In what follows he sets it forth in detail. He who speaks the truth in his heart, for some have truth on their lips and not in their heart, as if one should be deceitfully point out a road, knowing that there were robbers there, and should say, "If you go this way, you will be safe from robbers." And it should turn out that in fact there were no robbers found there. He has spoken the truth, but not in his heart. For he supposed it to be otherwise, and spoke the truth in ignorance. Therefore it is not enough to speak the truth unless it be so also in heart, who has practiced no deceit in his tongue. Verse 3. Deceit is practiced with the tongue when one thing is professed with the mouth, and another concealed in the breast. Nor done evil his neighbor. It is well known that by neighbor every man should be understood, and has not entertained slander against his neighbor, that is, has not readily or rashly given credence to an accuser. The malicious one has been brought to naught in his sight, verse 4. This is perfection, that the malicious one have no force against a man, and that this be in his sight, that is, that he know most surely that the malicious is not, save when the mind turns itself away from the eternal and immutable form of her own Creator to the form of the creature which was made out of nothing. But those that fear the Lord, he glorifies the Lord himself, that is. Now the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. As then the things above belong to the perfect, so what he is now going to say belongs to beginners. Who swears unto his neighbor and deceives him not, who has not given his money upon usury, and has not taken rewards against the innocent. Verse 5. These are no great things, but he who is not able to do even this, much less able is he to speak the truth in his heart, and to practice no deceit in his tongue, but as the truth is in the heart, so to profess and have it in his mouth. Yea, nay, nay. Matthew 5:37. And to do no evil to his neighbor, that is, to any man, and to entertain no slander against his neighbor, all which are the virtues of the perfect, in whose sight the malicious one has been brought to naught. Yet he concludes, even these lesser things thus, whoso does these things shall not be moved for ever, that is, he shall attain unto those greater things wherein is great and unshaken stability. For even the very tenses are, perhaps not without cause, so varied as that in the conclusion above the past tense should be used, but in this the future. For it was said, the malicious one has been brought to naught in his sight, but here shall not be moved for ever.